Hello there and welcome to today's tutorial in which I'm going to be showing you how to make Heat Miser and Snow Miser of the film A Year Without a Santa Claus. So let's go get started. I'm going to be making the backs of the tree ornaments first, so I've got some really nice gold glittery clay here. And I'm using star shapes for my ornaments, but of course you could use whatever shapes you fancied really. I think a snowflake would actually work really well for cold miser if you have one. So I'm just going to clean around the edges and take out the centre piece of my star with the smaller tool and replace that with some really nice red glittery clay. And all I need to do basically is just really try and coax the pieces together. So I'll go over with my acrylic roller, and obviously I need to ensure that it's nice and clean. So there we go, my star shape is all done. So I'll just neaten off the edges just with a wet wipe. And of course, before I go on, I need to create a hole so I can pop through some yarn once it's done. So I'm going to start with Heat Miser, and he's my favourite of the two, I have to say. So I've got some beige clay here and I'm just sizing it up to ensure that it will fit well on the ornaments before I start. And I'll add some black clay and pop on some white teeth. I have to be really honest in that I haven't seen this film. Somebody mentioned these characters last year and I looked them up and I was just immediately taken with them, so yeah, I just really wanted to make them. I think they really remind me of a programme called Chorlton and the Wheelies that I remember watching as a kid, so yeah, I just fancied giving them a go really. And obviously I need to track down the film now as well, don't I? So I'm going to try and watch it this year. So I'm just going to clean around his mouth like so and add a little philtrum in. And he's got some real jowls going on, Heat Miser, hasn't he? So I'll add some beige clay to the side like so. And this part is probably the trickiest actually. I just need to basically try and fathom a shape like so. And once I'm happy with that, just really try and pull that over the side. And then I can tuck it around the sides like so. And it may well take you a few attempts to get this right, you know, because it did me, I have to say. So his facial shape is really coming together. So now I can add in some eye sockets just with my ball tools here, and I do have a list of the tools that I use down below in description, so by all means go and check those out. And I'm going to add in some lilac like eye bags really, and again press down with my ball tool to ensure that I've still got some eye sockets going on, and then pop in some black clay. And I'll just flatten those with my fingers once I'm happy. And again I'll go in with my ball tool and pop in some tiny white balls of clay like so, and flatten those down once I'm happy with the size and the placement, and pop on just some black clay for his pupils. So again, I need to kind of fashion a shape that will allow him to look kind of grumpy, really. So it's starting at the top to give him, you know, a real furrowed brow, and basically come round the sides like so. And once I'm happy with that, I'll just use my ball tool to try and blend the clay together, and then go over with my wet wipe. And of course Heat Miser has a big red nose, so I'll add that like so, and yep, he's looking like Heat Miser now. So now I can add him to the back of the tree ornaments. and start adding some hair. So I'm using just some red clay as a base, like so. So I'll just add on a few strands. And for his ears, I've just got some dark red clay that's the same as the back. So once I've laid down my red layer, I'm going to add an orange layer of hair as well, just to really try and evoke that fire. And of course I need to remember to leave the hole free at the top as well, so I'll be able to pass through my yarn. And for the last layer, or the layer at the top, I'm going to use some like teardrop shapes. So just going to cut those down to size ever so slightly because they're too big as it is. So just going to neaten the sides off with my fingers and add those over like so. And I have added just a tiny piece of orange clay here at the bottom, just so it will allow the clay to kind of move over the top really, so it's slightly curved. So I'll just keep going with those. And there's the last one of the gold clay. And because I like my Christmas tree ornaments fully loaded where possible, I'm going to add on some basic flames as well, just because I think it needs it really. And just pop on the last one. And Heat Miser is all done, so now I can move on to his much cooler brother. So for Snow Miser, I'll be using some blue and some silver clay for the star, like so, and I'll just make that in exactly the same way. And I've got some basic white clay here for his face, so I'll pop on some black clay again for his mouth, and add on some teeny tiny teeth. And I'll just pop over his lip like so. Whoops. And again he's got some jowls going on, so I'll add on some white clay again like so, and really try and blend that in together. And just go over with my wet wipe again. And I'll add on a bottom lip like so as well, and just pull that together with my ball tool. And similarly to Heat Miser, I need to basically add on some kind of cheeks like so, and once I'm happy with those, I'll really try and tuck those under. And he's got some high cheekbones going on, so again, just try and blend those in. And go over with my wet wipe. And for his nose is actually ginormous really, but I need to remember that I don't want it to break off, so I've had to compromise a little and made it a bit smaller than it would actually be. So once I'm happy with that, I can add in some eyes in exactly the same way as Heat Miser. So I've got some sockets now, and I can add on the white clay again. And pop on some pupils. And I'll just add on some pieces to give him a nice furrowed brow. Although he looks a little more alarmed, I'd say, than Heat Miser does. So once I'm happy with that, I'll add on some light blue clay really to evoke some ice. I'll just cut off the top so it's nice and neat, and add that to the star. And I've got a very basic hat here, which is basically half of a circle of clay, and I'll just place that on like so. and add on a little strand of blue clay. And again, I want to go fully detailed on this, so I'll add on a couple of little blue stars. And not forgetting some icicles on his nose. So I want to make a couple of candy canes, so I've just got some navy, white and silver clay, so just need to twist that. And make some teeny tiny candy canes. So I can pop those on as well. And to finish off, I think he needs some snow, because he's Snow Miser. So now Heat Miser and Snow Miser are all done and ready to bake. And at this point, you'll need to refer to your own brand of polymer clay's baking instructions. So Heat Miser and Snow Miser are out of the oven, and I've added on some Christmas yarn so I can add them to the tree. And I've also added a tiny bit of Sculpey glaze to the ice and to Heat Miser's nose as well, so it's all nice and shiny. So hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like if you got this far, and I'll see you again soon.